Your soulmate almost walked away. Until they discovered this hidden truth about you. There is a reason. You felt drawn to these words today. Not by accident. Not by coincidence. But because somewhere, two hearts have been moving through the same season, without realizing how close they truly are. If this message has found you, do not rush. Take a slow breath. Allow your heart to become quiet. Because what you are about to hear is not about chasing someone. It is about discovering what has always been quietly growing beneath the surface. Your soulmate has been carrying questions. Questions they could not answer. Feelings they could not explain. There were moments when they convinced themselves that walking away would be easier. That letting go would protect them from disappointment. So they stepped back. Not because your story had ended, but because fear began speaking louder than hope. They believed distance would silence what they felt. Yet every step away only revealed something unexpected. The connection never completely disappeared. It remained, quietly waiting beneath the surface. And you have been changing too. You have spent so much time questioning yourself, wondering if you were enough, wondering if you had somehow missed your chance. There were nights when your heart replayed old conversations, days when you smiled on the outside, while carrying silent questions within. Yet without realizing it, every challenge was shaping you into someone stronger, more patient, more compassionate, more prepared for the kind of love that grows through honesty, not through fear. Sometimes life creates distance, not to separate two people forever, but to reveal what truly matters. Because when everything becomes quiet, the heart finally speaks honestly. Your soulmate reached a moment when they stopped focusing on what frightened them and started remembering what they admired about you. Your kindness, your calm spirit, the way you genuinely cared, the way you made people feel safe. Those memories refused to disappear. They became impossible to ignore. The hidden truth was never about perfection. It was never about becoming someone else. It was something much simpler. They slowly realized that your greatest strength was the peace you carried. Even after everything you had been through, you continued growing. You continued believing. You continued choosing hope. Even during difficult seasons. That quiet strength left a deeper impression than you ever imagined. Sometimes people only recognize someone's value after stepping away long enough to feel their absence. Right now, do not allow impatience to control your heart. Do not force what is meant to unfold naturally. Real connections cannot be built through pressure. They grow through trust, through understanding, through time, and through two hearts choosing honesty instead of fear. Take one quiet moment. Close your eyes. And simply breathe. Say within your heart, if what is meant for me is truly meant for me, may I have the wisdom to wait with peace, the courage to grow each day, and the strength to welcome love without fear. Amen. Stay with these words, because in the next part, you will discover what your soulmate finally realized when they stopped listening to fear and started listening to what their heart had been trying to tell them all along. The moment your soulmate stopped running from their own heart, take another slow breath. Stay with this message, because the story did not end when your soulmate stepped away. In many ways, that was where the real journey began. Distance has a way of revealing what constant closeness sometimes hides. When everything became quiet, when the distractions faded, when there was no one left to silence their thoughts, your memory returned, not as a passing thought, but as a feeling they could not explain. Your soulmate tried to convince themselves that moving on would be easy. They filled their days with work, with responsibilities, with new routines. They told themselves, this is the right decision. But every time life became still, your presence found its way back into their heart. Not because they planned it, but because genuine connections leave quiet reminders that time cannot easily erase. Meanwhile, you were learning one of life's greatest lessons. Not every season requires you to chase. Sometimes growth happens when you stop forcing outcomes and start trusting that what is truly meant for you will never require you to lose yourself. Little by little, you became stronger, not because everything became easier, but because you discovered a peace that did not depend on someone else's choices. That quiet confidence began changing you in ways you could not yet see. Your soulmate eventually noticed something unexpected. The version of you they remembered was no longer the same. You had become calmer, wiser, more patient. There was a quiet strength about you now. Not loud, not demanding, just real. And sometimes, real growth speaks louder than any words ever could. That was the hidden truth they never expected to discover. The person they almost walked away from had become someone who inspired them simply by continuing to grow. Do not misunderstand this. Love is never about proving your worth. You never needed to become perfect to deserve genuine love. Your value has always existed. Growth simply helped you see yourself the way you should have all along. When you begin valuing yourself, You stop accepting connections built on fear. You begin choosing peace, respect, honesty, and those qualities create stronger relationships than chasing ever could. My dear friend, if your heart feels tired today, let it rest. If your mind keeps searching for answers, give it permission to become still. Not every answer needs to arrive today. Some things become clear only after time has quietly done its work. Trust the process. Trust your growth. Trust that every season is shaping you into exactly who you are meant to become. Take one quiet moment. Breathe deeply. And say within your heart, may I never chase what is not meant for me. May I continue growing with wisdom and peace. And may every relationship that enters my life be built on honesty, respect, and genuine love. Amen. Stay with me, because in the next part, you will discover the one realization that completely changed the way your soulmate began seeing you, and why nothing felt the same after that. The one realization that changed everything. Stay with this message, because this is the part where everything slowly began to change. Your soulmate did not wake up one morning with every answer. It happened quietly. One small realization at a time. A memory appeared. Then another. A familiar feeling returned without warning. The more they tried to ignore it, the stronger it became. Not because they were forced to feel it, but because truth has a way of returning when the heart becomes honest. There was one question they could no longer avoid. Why do I still think about this person? Not once. Not twice. But again. And again. They replayed conversations. They remembered your kindness. The way you listened, without trying to change them. The way your presence made ordinary moments feel meaningful. Those memories refused to disappear. Because genuine connection leaves an imprint that time alone cannot erase. Then something unexpected happened. They stopped focusing on what they feared losing, and started recognizing what they had already found. Someone who was genuine. Someone who cared deeply. Someone who never needed to pretend to be worthy of love. That realization changed the way they looked at everything. Sometimes we only recognize the value of something after stepping far enough away to understand what life feels like without it. Meanwhile, you continued growing. Not because you expected anyone to notice, but because you finally understood that healing was something you deserved. You became more patient with yourself, more forgiving, more confident in the person you were becoming. Without realizing it, your quiet growth was becoming one of the most attractive things about you. Real confidence does not demand attention. It simply shines. Your soulmate could sense that change. Not through dramatic words, not through constant messages, but through the quiet energy of someone who had stopped chasing and started living. That kind of peace cannot be faked. It is earned through healing, through self-respect, through choosing growth again and again. And that quiet strength made them pause. For the first time, they wondered if walking away had been the biggest mistake they almost made. But remember this: do not place your happiness in someone else's decision. Whether they come closer or continue walking their own path, your value remains the same. The greatest love story always begins with the relationship you build with yourself. When your heart is peaceful, you stop begging for what should be given freely. You stop fearing what is beyond your control. You begin trusting that the right people will recognize your worth without being convinced. Take one quiet breath. Close your eyes and gently say, "May my heart remain peaceful, no matter what tomorrow brings. May I continue growing without fear. May I welcome love that is honest, kind, and meant for me. And may I never forget my own worth." Amen. Stay with these words, because in the next part, you will discover why timing can change everything, and how two hearts can find their way back only after they have both grown. Sometimes love finds its way back only after two hearts have grown. Stay with this message, because this is where many people give up too soon. They believe if love does not happen immediately, it was never real. But life does not always work that way. Sometimes the right connection arrives at the wrong season, not because the feelings were missing, but because the people still had lessons to learn. Growth needed time. Healing needed space. And wisdom could not be rushed. Your soulmate began seeing things from a different perspective. The distance that once felt comfortable no longer brought peace. Instead, it created questions. Questions that returned during quiet evenings, during ordinary moments, during times when they least expected them. They started realizing that what they missed was not just a person. It was the peace they felt when they were with you. The honesty, the kindness, the feeling of being understood. Those things are rare. And rare things are not easily forgotten. At the same time, you were becoming someone different too. Not colder. Not harder. Just wiser. You stopped trying to control every outcome. You stopped believing that your happiness depended on someone else's choice. You began creating a peaceful life, one day at a time. And something beautiful happened. The more peaceful you became, the less fear controlled your heart. You smiled more. You worried less. You trusted life a little more than before. That quiet confidence changed everything. Your soulmate could feel that something was different. You were no longer waiting for someone to complete you. You were becoming whole on your own. And sometimes that is exactly what changes the direction of a relationship. Because genuine love does not grow from desperation. It grows from two people who choose each other freely, not out of fear, not out of loneliness, but out of respect, trust, and peace. Remember this. Do not rush what still needs time. A flower cannot bloom by pulling on its petals. It blooms because every day it quietly receives what it needs. Your life works the same way. Keep growing. Keep learning. Keep protecting your peace. The right connections will never ask you to abandon the person you worked so hard to become. Take a slow breath. Place your hand over your heart and quietly say, "May I continue growing without fear. May I protect my peace. May I welcome relationships that bring honesty, kindness, and mutual respect. And may my heart always recognize what is truly meant for me." Amen. Stay with this journey, because in the next part, you will discover the unexpected moment when everything begins to move in a new direction, and why patience may become your greatest strength. The moment everything begins to make sense. Stay with this message just a little longer. Because sometimes the ending you have been hoping for does not begin with someone else's decision. It begins with the peace you finally discover within yourself. There comes a moment when you stop asking, "Will they choose me?" and you begin asking, "Am I becoming the person I was meant to be?" That question changes everything. Because real love never asks you to lose yourself just to keep someone close. It encourages growth. It inspires honesty. It brings peace, not constant confusion. Your soulmate may still be on their own journey. They may still be learning lessons Only time can teach. And that is okay. Because your journey is just as important. Keep building your life. Keep protecting your heart. Keep choosing kindness. Without expecting anything in return. The right connection will never require you to abandon your self-respect. One day, you may look back and realize that every delay, every disappointment, every unanswered question was preparing you for a love that was healthier, wiser, and stronger than anything you could have forced. Sometimes, the greatest blessing is not finding someone quickly. It is becoming the kind of person who recognizes a genuine connection when it finally arrives. Never forget this. You are worthy of honesty. You are worthy of respect. You are worthy of a relationship where trust flows both ways. Never settle for something that constantly steals your peace. Real love should help your heart feel safe, not anxious. It should encourage growth, not fear. It should bring hope, not endless uncertainty. As this message comes to an end, carry these words with you. Do not chase. Do not force. Do not lose hope. Keep becoming the best version of yourself. Keep believing that what is truly meant for you will find its way at the right time. And until that day comes, live fully. Smile often. Protect your peace. Be grateful for each new beginning. Because your story is still being written. And some of its most beautiful pages have not yet been turned. Take one final quiet breath and say within your heart, may I always choose peace over fear. May I never forget my worth. May I welcome love with wisdom and let go of what is not meant for me. May my heart remain open, my spirit remain hopeful, and my future unfold at exactly the right time. Amen. Thank you for spending these moments here. If this message brought you comfort, carry that comfort into your day. Share kindness wherever you go. Keep your heart open to growth. And remember, the strongest relationships begin with two people who have first learned to live with peace within themselves. Until next time, take care of your heart. Believe in new beginnings. And never stop becoming the person you were created to be.